Our professional speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh, loves to mock himself, but it's not as if he spares others. If you happen to get into his circle or coterie of friends, it's very likely that he will shift his focus towards you. His hobbies are to eat and sleep and then to repeat both the things. I understand that, but somehow he's found the time to go in for his second DTM, and his short-term goal states that he wants to achieve it by May 31st. I'm hopeful that he will get it before that, even though there's just 1 week left. Inherently, he's a lazy person. He sees a WCPS in all of us. But before his WCPS, I'm sure that we should listen to his HPL project today. It will tell us how he has reached this point and how we can perhaps aim to get to this achievement one day. At least I would love to hear this and get to my DTM one day and get this journey started. But I asked him that what are the kind of things that he loves about his writing. He said that he doesn't know grammar very well, which I disagree with, but here's what he says. He doesn't know grammar very well, but he's proud of the fact that he's still able to articulate his content so nicely. I agree that he is one of the best articulators I know. I am sure that he will be able to tell us how to get to his writing heaven. Rupinder Singh, let's judge. Let's judge Rupinder Singh.
In my Toastmasters journey, I attended a judges training program by distinguished Toastmaster and past district governor, Neeraj Gupta. I remember asking him in that program, why is this process so convoluted? Why use all that paper? Why not have judges sit in a separate room? Now, those of you who know Neeraj will probably guess what happened next. He shot me a look, which, if looks could kill, would have killed me 1,000 times over. Then, very politely, he told me to sit down and that we are here to work with what we have and not what we could have. Flash forward to 2020, when the lockdown happened. I enrolled myself in a course that taught Google Apps scripting. Now, in that course, I have a team of 4 other people situated across various geographical regions. And we are required to submit coding projects from time to time. And the first thought that came to my mind is, why not write an application for the way we judge? Madam Toastmaster of the meeting, fellow professional speakers, could be, would be, should be, maybe, and wannabe professional speakers. Today, I will tell you a story of wild enthusiasm punctuated with panic and hysteria. I will show you how the app works, some anecdotes that chronicle the journey of this app, and the lessons that I learned along the way. Time permitting, I will be happy to answer a few questions as well. Let's begin by looking at how the app works. Note that I am acting as the chief judge, or the CJ. As you can see, there is this control panel. On the left-hand side, you see the names of the contestants, and this is a departure from our usual judging. The app assumes that the contest chair has drawn up the speaking order and shared the same with the CJ. The CJ will now proceed to send the electronic judges guide and ballot to the voting judges, the tiebreaker ballot to the judge, and the timer sheet to the timer. I understand that some of you may be feeling nervous at looking at all the contest official names, but understand this. This sheet is for the CJ's eyes only. Once I enter all the information that I have over here, all I have to do is click this button. Once this button is clicked, all the contest officials will receive their respective forms by email. And I will be taken to this dashboard. What this dashboard tells me is that every one of them got the form. How can I tell that? You see these two columns over here, copy created and editor added. Copy created tells me that the document was created successfully and the contest official was emailed. The editor added tells me that the contest official has now got the editing rights to the respective documents. For this exercise, assume that all the contest officials have received their respective documents. They have performed their tasks of judging or timekeeping or whatever. And now we are ready to process the results. So all I have to do is hit this button, process results. Let's see what happens next. As you can see, a script is running and it will automatically start populating the table. This is a replica of the tally counter sheet. And as you can see, it is getting the scores from all the judges. Let's just wait for about 30 seconds so that all the fields are updated. The rows on the left hand side depict the judges. The columns, they depict the contestants. And now we have all the results. As you can see, there is a tie for the first and the second place, and there's a tie for the third, for the fourth and the fifth place. The script will automatically resolve these ties. All I have to do is click on view results. When I do that, it starts showing me the individual scores, and this script will sort itself on the basis of qualified, the tiebreaker rank. As you can see, it has listed the results. So Honey Khanduja stands disqualified. How do I know she stands disqualified? If I go to the timer sheet, the timer noted the time and reported that Honey Khanduja was 5 seconds over the time. But let's say that Honey bribes me, convinces me that she had a problem with the timing device. And being the large-hearted person that I am, I decide to qualify Honey. So now, as you can see, that the tie is still there for the fourth and the fifth places, but we're still in the right order. But wait, Shiv Priya Gauri, she is a district officer. How can she contest? Such an oversight on my part. She stands disqualified on eligibility. So I can disqualify her from here. And then when I hit sort by qualified, I get my list of winners. Congratulations, Anshupriya Prasad, Aditya Gupta, and Mukesh Thakur for winning this contest. All the best for your future. The original plan was to automate only the judges' sheet. Judges would complete their ballots, and the top 3 winners would be emailed to the CJ. But the more we looked at it, the more we thought this project could be so much more. So I and my team got together and put together our requirement. When I talk about my team, I'm talking about Matthew in South Africa, Maureen, Laura, and Megan spread across different time zones in the United States. I put together a beta version, which I proceeded to demonstrate to practically the whole district. On the 9th of April 29, 2020, in a Zoom meeting attended by a lot of people, close to around 40, including a district director, a program quality director, at least two division directors that I know of, and scores of Toastmasters. My application failed miserably. But remember, we are Toastmasters. We provide a supportive, positive learning experience. Not one person told me to give up. They encouraged me to try again. And that is where I made a WhatsApp group in which I invited people to help me develop the app. Over 32 over 30 people joined that group in a remarkable display of solidarity for a fellow Toastmaster. This is why Toastmasters will never fail as an organization, as long as there is someone willing to lend a helping hand, to wipe your tear, or a shoulder to cry on. We worked on the app, and finally, on May 2, 2020, we had a successful implementation. You can see the video. I'll provide you the link to see how the transition from an unmitigated disaster to a successful implementation took place. So, what were the lessons that I learned? The first lesson that I learned is that leadership is not about people management. It is also about innovation, excellence, and relationships. For example, we leverage the time zone differences to work for us. Matthew resides in Johannesburg in South Africa. Maureen is in Boston, Laura is in Chicago, and Megan is in Seattle. I would write a portion of the code, and then Matthew would work on it in his time zone, and so on and so forth. Basically, we added hours into our respective workdays. As an example of excellence, my team members work on multiple monitors. This allows them to browse documentation on one screen while working on the other. I converted my 50-inch flat screen TV to a dual monitor. Trust me, you'll never go back to working on a single monitor once the addiction to a dual monitor system kicks in. For a company that is among the richest in the world, Google certainly needs to update or upgrade their documentation team talent. The documentation for Google Apps Script is very sparse and makes for very facile application development. Fortunately, I knew a few Toastmasters who work in Google and also on Google Apps Script, and they were able to help me out. Thus, leadership is not just about leading people. It could be about driving innovation or building excellence or forging relationships. Next time you think you are an individual contributor and hence not a leader, think again. Leadership is all about influence, and nothing says influence better than a new idea, better results, or knowing that you know someone who knows someone who can get the job done. I also learned that it is okay to fail spectacularly. That is what makes Toastmasters such a brilliant organization. Any other organization, I could have been fired for the colossal failure that I subjected my audience to, and that too in the middle of the night. When that happened, but here there was nothing but support and encouragement. This leads to enthusiasm, overcoming panic, and empowering you to be better than ever before. Finally, and most importantly, I learned accountability. We work in this organization, which is a volunteer organization. It is not incumbent upon us to be successful at everything. In fact, we encourage failure so that we can learn new things. Nobody is waiting to write a progress report for you. It would then be easy for somebody to quit. But then I remember that no one looked down upon me when I failed, and that a lot of people look up to me. For their sake, I could not give up. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters, for reposing your faith in me and making me a better human being. How do you use this app? What are the advantages it offers? Well, the video I will share has a link to the documentation and the access link for the app. As to how the app helps, I believe there are three immediate benefits. One, it allows end-to-end automation of the entire judging process. No miscalculations, no forgetting to sign the ballot sheet. More importantly, it is paperless. It saves time. You don't need to read out the contestant names. You don't need to collect ballots. You don't need to tally results as a CJ. It can work anywhere, anytime, as long as there is an internet connection. We are hosting virtual contests now, and I can hardly wait to put this to test. That's it from my side. The torture is over. Timer, if we have the time, I can take some questions. If you could advise me, where are we with respect to time? I didn't get you. Okay, so we have around 5 minutes for question and answers. Anyone who has a question, I'm happy to answer.
If I may Toastmaster Rupinder.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand the part where you explained about the tie breaking process. How does the tie breaking thing happens?
Thank you for asking that question, Shrey. What happens is that the tiebreaker gets a separate ballot and they rank all the contestants. This script takes into account the rankings of the tiebreaker judge and ranks them accordingly. It first sorts on the basis of whether they were qualified or not, then on the basis of what of the scores, and then if needed, it breaks the tie. The script does that all by itself.
So before the final ballot, final results are announced, does chief judge has the final say to review everything?
Yes, yes. The chief judge can, if they want, they can disqualify a person and then they can run the script again to get the newer results. Any other question?
Yeah, dtm.rupinder Singh. I
Yes.
just want to one clarification. So what I can get is you have converted the role of telecounters into a robot,
Yes.
and so the role of telecounters is not required. Is it that? Is it so?
In a way, yes. But what the tally counters can possibly do, other than collecting sheets, they also have the responsibility of counting. And together with the chief judge, they can ensure that the counting is happening. Although that is just reduced to clicking a button now.
So maybe we will be parallelly doing both of the things, manually as well as automatic.
It's totally your call, but what I also feel is that getting role players in a contest as a chief judge is one of the most difficult tasks, and if we can do with fewer role players, why not, when the push comes to the shove.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? We still have time for, I think, a couple more.
Pinder, I wanted to know from you what was the biggest challenge? Was it thinking about this entire solution, executing it, or convincing all the team members to use it for the required application?
Actually, none of those. My team members are actually now willing to be Toastmasters, for the record. The biggest challenge was the lack of documentation that we have, as I called out. Google Apps Script documentation is very sparse. It is more focused towards Google Sheets and not the other two apps. So that was my biggest challenge. Once we overcame that, the rest was a cakewalk. That and that embarrassing night that I spent in front of my district director and the program quality director. I think we are going to run out of time. Thank you for being such a patient audience in the spirit of being supportive and positive. I request your support to help make this app useful. And Neeraj Gupta sir, if you are listening, I will take my seat now, but I request you to give this app a serious thought. With that, it is your professional speaker of the day signing off. It has been an honor presenting this to you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.